This is my first video for the Theatre Network, and I'm here with Valerie and McCaffrey over from Los Angeles. Thank you very much for coming.
Oh, my pleasure.
Valerie's been teaching the directing stream at Hollywood Intensive. It's an opportunity for students to come together in directing, acting and screenwriting, and we're going to all work together today for the first time after 3 days so far. Our final 2 days are pretty much dedicated to collaborating with our skills that we've kind of learnt during the first 3 days. So what is your official title of your job in Hollywood?
I'm a casting director and I'm a producer. And I also have a small management group that I manage. I manage actors. It's called McCaffrey Talent Management.
And what do you actually do?
All three. I put actors in movies. I package projects which I produce, including, attaching directors and actors, and look for financing. And then, as far as my management is concerned, I actively help the actors who I represent get work.
And what are some of the biggest achievements for these actors, or for yourself even?
Well, actually, one of my young actors just got a lead in a movie today. Actually, I got word that's starring opposite Brittany Snow.
Wow. And can we know anything about this yet?
It's called 96 Minutes.
Yeah.
And it's, he went through like 5 auditions before getting the part.
Wow. So.
And he has a very young feeling appearance, and he's actually in his 20s and he's playing a 15-year-old.
Wow, that's a bit of a stretch, isn't it?
Yeah, so, we did some tricky things like cutting his hair that makes him look younger, or, wearing his clothes a certain way to the audition. So there were a lot of little things that, we collaborated on and that helped him get the job.
And what's this guy's name? We'll look out for him.
J. Michael Trotman.
So what's the biggest film you've ever cast?
Wow. The biggest film I've ever cast, well, just for the Australian market, I cast Dark City and Babe and American History X, and I've cast huge studio movies. I don't know exactly what the budgets were on them, but Island Dr. Moreau that shot in Australia.
Yeah? If I were watching this video, I'd really want to know what your life is like, because you are living the dream as far as we're all concerned. You hang out with all the interesting people of the world.
You're pretty interesting.
Well, I am. But that's a different... About the celebrities, the people on the red carpet.
They become my friends. I don't really look at them that way because I'm used to it, and I've worked with them over many movies sometimes, sometimes, obviously some of the actors, like Carrie Always, for instance, he's a personal friend, so I tend to want to cast him in movies that I do, obviously, so.
Princess Bride.
Yep. Princess Bride. And, but it's a completely different level of, meeting somebody, or rather having them, because we're all part of the collaborative team. So they look at me in the same way that I look at them. They're part of the puzzle that I need to put in to a movie, and I can help them and they can help me.
Something I've learned during our course is that it's not as romantic as I remember it to be in my imagination, this whole film industry. It seems like business. What about that whole getting together? The actors are all friends, there are love interests on the set, etc. I'm hearing stories like, to save money, we bring in that person this day, this person on this other day, and they never even meet each other until the opening night. Yeah,
that's very true. That's very true. A lot of times, because they're scheduled to work on different days, and they meet at the wrap party maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a movie business, and sometimes people forget that exists, but it's very much a big part of what we do to continue to make movies. Is we have to make money. So because that movie allows us to make other movies. Potential investors, I think the project, there's a couple ways of going about it. You can actually go to a production company that have access to hedge funds, or they have access to, it could be just a person. Matter of fact, there's a person in Australia that a friend of mine is sourcing out who is a billionaire that lives in Australia. So they might be interested in funding one of the movies that I ended up passing up $10 million today on. Because the deal has to make sense, and the risk of returning somebody's money is very important, that you don't make deals that's going to put you in jeopardy. And that it's deals, certain people end up taking advantage of people's desperate need to make a movie, and so you can't let that get in the way of your business sense.
Well, the way you just slid past, oh yeah, I was offered $10 million today for a movie and I turned it down. I mean, that's just, you say that so casually. I mean, is this common? Do you get a call every day offering you $10 million to make a movie? I mean,
no, it's not common, but either was the deal. So it was basically, having to secure a record deal before you even made the movie, and to get insurance on the talent that was probably not insurable, the musical artist that was probably not insurable. So it was very uncommon. So it was probably something we accomplished a lot, having to have people commit to a song when the movie hasn't been made and they haven't seen it, and we're talking about like major musical artists. So that I'm very proud that I could put together those elements, but realistically speaking, I can't insure people that are not insurable. I think the producers have this preconceived notion of, we know that Tom Cruises have value. We know that when we put Tom Cruise in a movie, there's going to be X amount of box office that you're going to get by just doing the numbers and just past history. However, I'm a firm believer that if you just make a good film, that you'll get the rewards of that. And Uma Thurman's been in a bad movie, and she doesn't mean that she's a bad actress. It just, these are the things. You happen to make enough movies, you're not going to, one of them might not be as successful. So you just have to really strive to put all the elements in to make a good film.
Can you tell our Australian audience here, the Australian top, if they're in the A-list, all the better. Are there any Australians in the A-list at the moment?
Oh, Hugh Jackman.
Yeah?
Yeah, Hugh Jackman, and he's doing this project, I believe, Real Steel.
Yeah.
He's going to be shooting. Yeah, Nicole Kidman's in the A-list.
Mel Gibson?
Mel Gibson.
He's now American,
yeah.
but yeah, he's dropping off because of some of his comments.
Well, I still think that, he's such a talented guy. I think that people will see his movies because he's a good filmmaker. And Naomi Watts.
Yeah, A-list.
A-list, I would consider
so
A-list.
How much would she get for a film?
Well, depending on the budget and what she wants to, if she wants to do it for the art or she wants to do it for the money.
Mm-hmm.
They always say actors do one for the art and one for their bank account.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name, the lead of Avatar.
Yes, Sam.
Is he A-list now already? Or
I would believe so, yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And it can happen quickly. Or it can happen, it can happen with one movie. But the fact that Clash of the Titans is doing so well now, and now that's 2 movies in a row,
Yeah.
it's really building up his star meter, as they say.